The Sopranos' Unfortunate Sons have quite a lot in common,
No, your pawn can only move 2 spaces on the first move.
with the biggest factor being their desire to quickly move up the food chain in the world of organized crime. Let's start with the first unfortunate son, Brendan Filone.
Acting boss my ass, Tone. Come on, everybody knows you really run things since Jackie became the Kimosabi.
Brendan Filone, a friend of Christopher's, really wants to get on Tony's good side, but Brendan never follows the rules. For example, he hijacks 2 trucks that are under the control of Tony's uncle, Junior Soprano.
He's a good kid, but I don't like that methamphetamine.
Part of it's the crank.
It's ironic how Brendan makes this comment about it being because of the crank, because that sure does come true again later on in the series with Jackie Jr.
Let's do it before the crank wears off.
That worked out well.
What do I do?
And another little twist here is that it's actually Livia Soprano who makes the final call on taking Brendan out after Junior goes to her for advice.
You know, the other one, Filone. I don't know.
Hijack, Bijack.
And when the news reports on Brendan's death, he's called a soldier in the DeMeo family. And so Christopher's like super jealous, but it also just goes to show how much we really don't know when it comes to narratives and things that we read, because Brendan was far from a soldier. Next up, Matthew Bevilaqua and Sean Gismonte.
So when do we get to roll with Tony? What?
What are you, tripping? Gotta work our way up, get introduced. Must be deep, hanging out with him.
Who? Mr. T.
You tell him we don't mind that shit. We'll do anything. Wet work, pick up his shirts.
Matt and Sean get cowboyitis and try to start making a Western right away in the season 2 premiere when they decide to throw hot coffee in a colleague's face and beat him up for recommending that a client invest in something other than Wobistic stock. I guess this could also be a side effect of Christopher's lack of leadership. He shouldn't have left them alone in charge of the office right away just because he couldn't manage to sit in the office for a couple more hours.
Go find us.
You're supposed to push with Wobistics. Does Tony ever talk about us?
No.
Yeah, T.
Tony.
Something that sticks out to me is how Matt repeatedly calls Tony T, even though Tony has told him it's Tony. Even in the moment right before he gets killed, he still calls him T. They also really pulled a Christopher when they tried to kill Christopher on spec for Richie. Something to note, though, is that Christopher kind of plants the seed in their head a little bit when he tells them that when it's their time, they either step up or find another career.
Just so you know, Chris spoke to us about you wanted we should give you a taste from those safes.
You ever hear wiretaps?
Look what you did.
Because you made me do all the talking. You always do that. You get all quiet, you leave me hanging in the motherfucking cocksucking wind.
And Matt sure did leave Sean in the wind here.
Yes!
Matt and Sean are examples of people who, although they may have started off on the right foot or thought that they wanted to follow the straight and narrow path, that doesn't mean that they're going to be successful. And they had more than a semester and a half of college. They got their degrees, remember? I guess somewhere along the line, this world tempted them more, though they were wholly unqualified for it, obviously.
Thank you, T.
At T again, it's no surprise he ended up on the snack bar menu. Next up, Jackie Aprile Jr. and Dino Zerilli.
What about Moltisanti?
Nothing. We were just saying, he's young to be made. That kind of shit.
He wanted it, so he stepped up and took it.
Okay, so maybe he didn't exactly step up and take it. Tony was the one who nominated him at the end.
We had this Saturday night card game, and your father sees this as our big chance to step up to the A-League.
It's not like Jackie's been dying to become the next Godfather or anything, and looking for a way to step it up.
Connected or not, him, me, and Tony, we're gonna rob it. We thought your father lost the marble. But he said, fuck it. Point was made. Father and Tony were rising stars that had to be respected.
Talk about great timing, huh? It's nothing like Ralph Cifaretto making you feel like a little shitheel by telling you a story about how your father knocked up a big card game and demanded respect after that. I'm sure that won't give Jackie any weird ideas or anything.
Fuck it, let's go down the shore.
This brief moment where Jackie Jr. says, let's go down to the shore instead, it reminds me of when Christopher tells Brendan early on in the series, I think I'll take a pass. Except in that moment, Christopher did stay behind, but Brendan still went. Now in this case with Jackie, they all went. But I wonder if Jackie had been a bit more aggressive, if maybe things would have turned out different. But at the end of the day, we knew Jackie was who he was.
Let's do it before the crank wears off.
What do we mean when we say leadership?
Tom, part of it's the crank.
And ironically, lots of folks expected that Jackie would be the heir apparent, including Christopher. But Tony thinks that Jackie shouldn't be in that life, because apparently that's what Jackie Aprile Sr. wanted. Looks like Jackie leaves Dino in the wind too, huh? So Jackie Jr. seems to be under the impression that because he's the son of a former boss, he has just, like, full immunity.
Well, it's been dead 2 years. As a matter of fact, the expiration date was last week. I know your bullshit with that.
When you and him did the same thing, you got forgiven?
But think about it. See if you can figure out the difference.
Yo, I think you're done for.
We just started.
I almost feel badly for a moment for Jackie, because it's like I can see a speck of humanity in him when he's playing and joking with Lena. But of course, then he makes the foolish decision to walk out the door for the last time. Bye, Jack. Bye, Jack. Next up, Christopher Moltisanti.
In my thoughts, I use the technique of positive visualization. How come I always feel undermined?
From day one, Christopher thinks he's ready to be made. After killing Emil Kolar on spec, Christopher's frustrated that his hard work isn't immediately recognized and doesn't put him on the fast track to being made.
The books are closed.
Did you talk to Jackie about me?
They're not accepting any new members, okay?
When Christopher asks Tony if he talked to Jackie about him, it reminds me of when Matt and Sean ask Christopher the following season whether Tony ever talks about them. It's like they're all eager little interns just hoping for a little spot at the office. That, or they sound like they're talking to a high school friend about their crush. It's interesting how in certain moments Christopher really took to heart Tony's words about sticking together, but not enough to convince Brendan to do the same.
Why be in a crew? Why be a gangster?
I'm proposing you to get your butt.
I fucking deserve it. Got no spleen, Gene.
Congratulations.
But the grass isn't always greener.
Yeah. This being made ain't working out the way I thought it would. A lot of responsibilities. We're only as fucking smart as this week's lines. One false move and you spend your fucking time chasing it instead of making money.
Welcome to the NFL, rookie.
And slowly but surely, over the years, the resentment builds on both ends and mixes with addiction, other vices, and the FBI for a very dangerous cocktail that ends up leaving Christopher comfortably numb.
Discipline, that's all. Set limits for myself.
What comes now? Well, we get a great preview of it here. If you didn't know any better, you might think he's already dead. And when it's all said and done...
I see you should have played that out. That's the only way you're going to learn.
And of course, whether it's the mafia or any other industry, there will be people who are super ambitious and super power hungry who will want to just jump to the top right away and take the shortcut. But in an industry like this, the consequences are most often deadly. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this latest video.